Alright. So we've waited a little bit, not quite a half hour, just for this silicone adhesive to be somewhat tight on there so it doesn't want to sag down as we're installing. Well, okay, so we have the crankcase on, we have our tube on the inside coming all the way up to here. This is our oil vent tube. We have the gasket installed. We have the steel pipe. It's cut at 7/16 of an inch. This is a piece of 3/4 inch steel pipe. Basically what we're going to do. This nut threads on. Right is tight, left is loose. The other side, that is the reverse thread. Okay. Make sure you hold the rod while you're turning. What I'm going to use here is just a piece of plastic. It just happens to be a plastic tube. You want to hold that against between the crank and the case. Okay, now I'm going to hold on to this. This. Okay, now what we're going to do is take it and put it over here on this side. Other side of it. Yeah, right down in there. I'm just going to break this free. Okay. Okay, pull it out and put it over there now. Okay, and we just keep adding washers. You could argue the way's a little hokey, but it works. Gets it installed. We're gonna have to bring the drive side over a little bit more. That's gonna require, I believe it was a 17, no, 19. 19. Looks like that's as far as it can go on that side, on the magneto side. So we're going to press this side over. You can see the difference between the sides here. You can see, okay. This side still has some, it's a little thicker. The distance, the distance between the case and the crank, the gap between the case and the crank there, that's very close. That was, it's about 1 millimeter distance or so, which I think it's at its maximum run out as far as how far it can go in. I think it's touching the bearing. So now, I'm going to use the same method, just basically just tightening this thing on. Until the case is tight. And this is reverse, so it would be backwards, would be tight. Okay, our case is now tight. Now fully tight all the way around. Crank operates freely. Crank and rod. The distances between the crank and the case on both sides are almost even. Very, very close, which is good. Basically, we're just going to spray on the top bearing and it'll come out the bottom. It's going to run through the crankcase. Go ahead and do the same thing on the other side. And give a quick spray inside and then hit everything with air. Hit everything with some shop air here. Nice and light. Doesn't have to be too much. Solvent. You just want it dry and fast. You don't want it seeping through that silicone too much that you just laid down. Okay. Okay. Now we got nice clean, dry cylinder. Now you have a nice clean, dry crankcase and crank. And now you want to lubricate that before you do too much spinning. Be liberal with it. Turn it on the side. Get a couple drops. Come back at the other side. Don't put anything together until all that brake clean has really evaporated out of there. Doesn't take much time. Just look down there with your flashlight. Look for a dry crankcase in the bottom. It's pretty dry. Just one drop of oil in there and no more brake clean, so we're good. Okay, I believe Husqvarna says 7 to 9 foot-pounds is the proper tightening torque for all of these bolts.